Hello guys, welcome back to TechDose, and in this video I will be showing you how to explain solution to a problem during interview. So in this case, problem means I will be showing how to explain coding questions. Okay, so I will be talking about the strategies, the do's and don'ts, and I have divided this entire video into three parts. The first part will be if you are knowing the solution, then how to explain it. The second part explains if you do not know the solution, then how you should proceed, and the third part will be my personal advice. So let us get started. Actually, all the explanations are based in the question answer form so that it is much easier for you to understand. So the first question is when to start explaining the answer. Well, the most important thing is that you should let the interviewer finish the entire question. Listen to the question very carefully, and after he finishes, take a deep breath and think for at least 5 to 10 seconds even though you know the answer. Okay, then start speaking. Don't rush to answer. It can go against you. So be patient and think for a while before opening your mouth. Explain when naive comes to mind. Don't start after thinking about all the possible solutions. Okay, start thinking from the brute force. Now the next question is how to explain the solution. So the first part is the naive approach. You should always start with the naive approach even though you know all the solutions. So first explain the brute force approach. Then when you are asked to optimize it, then move to the better approach. And again, if you are asked to optimize it, then move to the best approach. If there is no available better approach, then you can move directly from naive to best approach. Okay, let me give you an example. If you are asked to find majority element in an array, where if an element is having frequency greater than n by 2, then that will be a majority element. Then a brute force approach can be you pick an element and you count the occurrence of this element in the entire array. Again, you pick the second element and you count from the beginning to the last. Okay, so this algorithm will take you order of n square. If you sort this array and then find the count of each and every element in just a single traversal, then that will take you order of n log n. But if you follow Moore's voting algorithm, then that will take you order of n. Okay, so this is the type of optimizations which you require. Now you should always try to optimize whenever you are asked. Don't open your mouth if you are not asked. Now the third question is after explaining the naive approach, when should we proceed to optimize it? Well, the first point is that don't proceed unless you are asked. So this is a very important point. Don't be impatient. Show some maturity and be patient. Interviewer might tease you by not asking to optimize. This can indicate your self-control. If you are answering as much as required, then it will show your self-control and also that you are not a show-off person. So interviewer might think that you might be knowing the optimal solutions for certain questions, and then he willingly might not ask you to optimize. So if he doesn't ask to optimize, then you should not optimize it. You should leave it as it is. Okay. Now the fourth question is how to transition from one approach to a better one. Let us say from the naive to a better solution. Okay, so the first thing is to identify and show the areas of improvement. Like I always do in my videos, I always show you where you can do the optimizations. So first you should make some observations or show the areas of improvement. Second thing is to give optimal alternatives to the ones already explained. Okay, so when you have identified what areas you want to improve, then you can apply some optimal algorithms or data structures in order to do the same operation in less time. Okay, so this will improve your overall time complexity. So this is how you should proceed. You should first analyze and then you should give a better alternative. So for better understanding, you should follow my videos very closely and see how I transition between a brute force to an optimal approach. Then you will get a good understanding. Now the fifth question is, do we give preference to time complexity as compared to the space complexity? Well, generally it is true, but we should always consider the trade-off depending on time and space constraints. So let me show you an example. If accepted time is, let's say, less than equals to order of n square, that is, if you write any algorithm which solves the problem and the worst case time is less than equals to n square, then it will get accepted. Similarly, if the accepted space is less than equals to order of n, then your algorithm, that is your solution, will get accepted. Now let us say you are having two algorithm options. Which one to select? Algorithm 1 is having time complexity of order of n and space complexity of n log n. Algorithm 2 is having time complexity of order of n square and space complexity of order of n. Now according to this, you might think that whatever is the lower time complexity is a better algorithm. But since you have some specific constraints, your space should be less than equals to order of n. Therefore, the first algorithm cannot be used, and so you will have to use this second algorithm. In this case, you can see that the second one is a better choice as compared to the first one. But if there is no such constraint of time and space, then you can see that the first one will be far better than the second one. So it all depends on the constraints, what constraints you are given. So don't just jump into the conclusion part, that is, if your time complexity is less, then that algorithm is better. No, it is completely wrong. Okay, so you should judge based on the available constraints as well as the time and space complexity which certain algorithm is having. Based on that you will decide. Okay, so this is one of the very important observation. Now the sixth question can be, is there any need to prove the time and space complexity? Well, if it is required to prove, that is if you are asked to prove, then you should prove. Mathematical proofs are always favorable, but if you cannot prove it by mathematics, then a good alternative is to prove by dry run example. Or if you have written the code, then you can show how many loops have you used or what all algorithms have you used, and you can simply show the structure along with the time for each and every data structure and show the overall time complexity. That is one of the best approaches if you are not using mathematical proofs. Okay, so that is also accepted, there is no issue with that. Now I will be showing you how to approach unknown questions. The first goal should be to make a working approach for a given problem. That is, even if it is brute force, think about solving the entire problem by using brute force. This is the most important part. Actually, many of the students skip this part, but brute force is the most important approach, because at least if you are given a question, then you should be able to solve it by giving an answer. Okay, so providing an answer is more important than providing an optimal answer. Once you provide an answer, then the interviewer will understand that you are at least able to understand the question and how to solve it. Now the next goal should be to optimize the solution. So this is our second goal. Optimize using any data structures or algorithm of your choice. And if you are not able to optimize it, even after knowing the brute force, if you are not able to optimize it, then you should be alert for clues from the interviewer, because interviewer will keep throwing you some clues if he knows that you are not able to optimize it. And if you can catch those clues and you can solve it, that is, you are able to optimize the solution, then you will get a very good plus point for this one. Okay, so this will show that you are a very good learner and you are able to pick the points even if you are given some clues. So this will give some good points for you. There can be some more optimizations to a given problem as well. So this is basically optional. If you can optimize the solution further, then that is always better. But if you cannot optimize it, then also it's okay, it's fine, because you were not able to even optimize it from the brute force approach. Okay, so this was the first problem. Now the second problem can be, what if you are completely blank on the question? The first thing to ask the interviewer is to ask him to repeat the question. Okay, and when he's repeating, focus on completely understanding the question. Okay, so do not think about the solution in the beginning only. You should first focus on understanding the question completely. Once the question is understood, then you will definitely come up with at least the brute force approach. And if you are not able to come up with the brute force approach, then there might be one of the two problems. Actually, the first problem can be you did not understand the question, or the second one could be that you are not familiar with that given data structure or algorithm domain. Okay. So at least you should take care of this part, that is understanding the problem completely. Now once you have understood the entire problem, this can be taken care by more and more practice. So if you have covered each and every algorithm domains, then at least you should be able to come up with the brute force approach. Okay. Now in the worst case, if you are not able to understand the problem or you are not able to come up with any solution, then you should admit by saying that nothing is coming to mind. So this should not happen during an interview. So in order to avoid this situation, you should try to practice as much as possible. And during an interview, you should always try to focus on the given question and understand it completely. Then only you should try to focus on thinking about the solutions. Okay. Now the third problem can be, what if you explained the answer but facing problem in implementation? So you can use pseudocode to represent the chunk of code. Pseudocode is also accepted during the interviews. So let us say you want to write a big chunk of code, and inside that code you will be using heap. So for heap push and pop, you can directly write like this: heap pop, and then you can provide the heap like my min heap. If you want to push some element, then you can provide into the function heap push element my min heap, and you will not have to implement this heap pop and heap push. Okay, so this is one way to get out of this problem. The next type of problem can be, what if you cannot communicate or speak well? So using hand gestures is one of a very effective way in order to communicate. And you can also try to draw or scribble something quickly or write something in order to explain. Grammatically good English is not required. You should be able to explain yourself. That should be enough. Okay, so communication doesn't mean that you will have to speak grammatically good English. You should be able to communicate, like you should be able to transfer to his mind whatever you are thinking. He must be able to understand. That should be enough. So do you have any question for me? In order to ask a question, you can ask some questions like this: can you talk a bit about company culture? Or what are you looking for in a candidate? Or can you share more about some day-to-day responsibilities of the position? And why have I picked all these questions? These questions are showing your interest in the company. You are basically interested in the company's culture and the company and the work done in the company, and nothing else. Okay, so you should not focus on something like this: what is the bonus amount I will be getting, or how much salary should I expect, or the plans of the company. And don't even try to ask some comparative questions in which companies are involved. Let's say you are sitting for Amazon, and then you are asking the interviewer, who do you think has the better work culture, Amazon versus Microsoft? You should not involve in such questions. Even if it was not Amazon, it was some other company, you cannot compare some other companies. It will give a bad impression. Okay, so there are many such questions which should not be asked. Even apart from this, there are many other list of questions, but you should focus on something which will show your interest into the company. Okay, now from my part, what advice I will give is, practice thinking about the brute force to optimal. Most of the people are basically skipping this first step, because most of the time we keep optimizing a solution so much that we just start thinking about the optimal solutions, and we don't even think about the brute force. So if you are asked suddenly about the brute force approach, or if you suddenly start with the brute force, then you will see that you are basically starting with some middle approach, some better approaches. Okay, so that is not a very good thing to do. You should always start with the brute force. So you should start practicing this one. Now the second point is, while thinking, try to murmur to engage your interviewer to let him know what you are thinking. This is a very important step actually, which is skipped by many of the candidates. So when you are thinking about a solution, then you should not stop your mouth and think, because the time will fly away for you. But for interviewer, the time will be very slow. Okay, so he will get bored, and he will also like to know what you are thinking, how you are thinking. Okay, so if you keep murmuring, then he will have some inputs on where you are going. Okay, so that is a very good thing to do actually. Now the third point is, work on improving the communication skills if you do not have good communication skills. Okay, so that doesn't actually mean your English speaking skills, but overall communication skills, overall expressibility. Okay. Fourth point is, don't get depressed on not being able to answer a couple of questions. Take each question independently. Even if you are not able to answer some of the questions, you can still get hired. Okay, so there is no problem with that. Many of the candidates are not able to answer all the questions and still they are hired. So you should focus on the overall interview and not just on some of the questions. I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, then please hit the like button, share this video with those who will need it, and subscribe to our channel in order to watch more of this programming videos. See you in our next video. Thank you.